the self-introduction, it is also important for you all to frame your thoughts in terms of why are you keen on a banking or a financial sector job. It is a very respectable job. It has a lot of growth opportunities, but it also has a fair share of ups and downs in terms of the industry I'm talking, not about your job. Make sure that you're being very honest to your answers. It doesn't mean that we are talking very loosely. We are in the context of the interview. What are the informations from my experience, from my education background, from whatever that I know, I can put it in a perspective and present myself. What is your idea of communication? So basically, to me, communication is like, if I talk in my personal words, communication is nothing but sharing of your ideas to the other person. So I'm sure all of us are communicating on an everyday basis, whether it is our home, whether it is our workplace, or whether it's with friends, or whether it is on Instagram, anywhere and everywhere we are communicating.
Yes.
Now, from an interview perspective, if I'm talking purely from an interview perspective, how would communication be important for you all? So I would term it as communication effectiveness. So now about 10 minutes, fairly 10 minutes I have been speaking. Right? In these 10 minutes, is there something which you all have not understood, or you have followed what I have spoken? Now, what is the difference here? Being impressing the interviewer. Some of you all have been attending interviews in the last couple of weeks. How important has been English for you in your journey of communication? Now, some of us are, for English, some of us are not for English. But when we are looking at it from a job perspective, right? When we are looking at it from a job perspective, now Suhail spoke about sales, but irrespective of the sales, whichever point, whenever there is a customer facing role, it could be sales, it could be non-sales, it could be anything in the world. Whenever, even if you're running your own shop, you have to present your ideas, like why the particular person has to buy a certain product or service, right? If I'm talking this from particularly a job perspective, right? Now, what is happening is that we all are operating in a globalized economy. Are we in agreement there? I may be operating from Mangalore, but I can have people from across India, across globe, whom I need to interact with. Yeah, well, maybe 75 to 80 on a practical perspective, while 75 to 80% of the chances that you just need to use your regional language, but that 20% of the scope is for English, and maybe it is that 20% of the customer who is going to give us more business. And again, even whether it is an interviewer perspective or whether it is a customer perspective, it is not about how great an English that you are talking, right? One. Second is, are you able to communicate your idea to the other person? Now, if I'm talking about banking sales, you have say, for example, you have to sell an insurance maybe. So only if so now the bank would have given you the entire download in terms of what the product is, the benefits of the product, how can you pitch it, everything the bank would have given. Want to tell that to the other person, and the person only follows English, or maybe is a non-regional language speaking gentleman or lady, and you have to communicate in English. You need to speak at least minimal English, correct? So that is what our objective is here. From most of you all whom I have interacted with, I understand that all of our English is very fair. We have fair levels of English, and we just need to fine-tune certain aspects of it. I'm not talking about grammar here. As you read English papers or you hear some of the suggestions, like when I was trying to develop my language, say I am a non-native of Karnataka, and I had to learn Kannada because my job required me to take. This is a few years back when I shifted to Karnataka. My job required me to speak Kannada. I didn't have an option. And again, I was addressing students community who fairly like 75 to 80 percentage, they followed only Kannada. I started like slow building blocks, and something that helped me personally is that whichever opportunity, it could be an auto rickshaw driver, or it could be somebody, a shopkeeper, or even these seminars where I kept on talking in Kannada with whatever little words I know, and I seek help as well if I was not able to fill in certain words. Correct? And at home also, I would come and practice whatever little 2-3 minute opportunity I got, I would do that. So that is the same thing in English. I am sure, we will have people come up to us and say, oh, you talk only in English, right? So for the fear of some of us, not everybody, but for the fear of judgment, we stop ourselves from talking the language. It could be any language here because it is the Big C session. I am talking exclusively of English. Now, as I said, the advantage for us of improving our English is that you will be able to present yourself better in an interview, right? So it's something, as I said, knowledge is power. Have you all heard this? So you have the knowledge of the products and, processes of banking through the training. But if you have to articulate that knowledge, you need that medium, which is English. English is nothing but the medium. Okay. So again, understanding that each of us need practice. Practice makes man perfect. So each of us need practice. That is why these sessions are scheduled. So as we already spoke, right? Like Deekshita said, it is about, sharing an idea. We spoke about, I think Lindsay spoke about impressing the interviewer. We had Suhail talking about, being able to talk or effectively in summary, he mentioned that talk to the customer. So I would put it effective communication. So basically what happens is that, so we are, if I can cite it as an example, the communication process for us to, to simplify, it is about the source, right? So we are the source here. Yeah, are we agreeing to that? So if you're talking to a customer or an interviewer, so to say, you are like from the source, you are, so this is supposed, so if example, we've asked, introduce ourselves, introduce yourself. Now you as the source, you will encode in terms of what the communication has come from the other person, self-introduction, right? So you're encoding what can be answered, and here the channel can be something that you because it is you yourself who is talking. The channel is, if I can say, it is you yourself. Otherwise, it could be, say, it could be through a telephone, or it could be, because here we are talking more from a perspective of face-to-face communication. So it is between the individual, that is you, and the interviewer, right? Then, so there is a decoding that happens. So what is the decoding process? So you are saying something, and the other gentleman or the lady who is interviewing is processing what is being spoken. Yeah, and who is he or she? That is the receiver. So this is a very simple format of communication. And when we talk about feedback, we talk about feedback here. So if you're talking, say, I am Nandita, I belong to Mangalore, and I have been, so for example, if I talk in Malayalam, then a normal question that I face is that, okay, so you're from Mangalore and how do you speak Malayalam? Yeah. So when that response comes from the other person, I know that the other person is listening to me. So if you're talking, say, for example, if Deekshita is introducing herself and the interviewer catches one word from it and then gives her another question back. which means that you have communicated fairly and the receiver has understood what has to be understood and is asking back question. Yeah, this asking back question or sharing an observation is nothing but the feedback that we were talking about. Okay, so now as I rightly mentioned, our most favorite question is self-introduction. One definitely is the greetings, right? When you began, you greeted. When you concluded also, you greeted. But in a typical interview scenario, just after your self-introduction, you will not have an opportunity to say thanks because you will have other questions coming in. Correct? So firstly, it is a good, you can mention saying thank you for the opportunity or thank you for this interview opportunity. We can probably avoid saying thank you for giving me an opportunity of introducing myself. But if it is coming naturally, it is okay. It is not a bad thing because this you have to rehearse over time. Thank you for this opportunity. That is fairly understood. They know that you have come for the interview. They know you are going to introduce yourself. Logically speaking, whatever you are talking, except for maybe your family background, is there in something called as, what do we give them? What is that you give to the interviewer before you start talking? Resume. All what you spoke is there in the resume, correct? The interview ideally should have already read through that resume. In spite of that, they are asking, or we as a candidate, we've been asked, introduce ourselves. What is the purpose? Okay, communication. Then, as I said, the word effectiveness. Are you able to collect your thoughts and talk within a brief period? With the customer, when you go, you get only that brief 30 seconds to impress the customer and get his or her attention. Correct? Only if we do that, we get that 30 seconds is what will decide the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Don't we do that? We look at a shop and we'll say, should I go? If all the products is kept haphazardly, would it feel inviting for us to go into that shop? So if we go to any malls or any shopping centers, you would have seen they line it up in a certain way, correct? There is a layout. Yeah. Why? Because one is it is easy for the customer to go through that, know where, what, how they will get the things, correct? Same in communication. You frame it according to your audience. Now, greetings. One good thing which couple of you did highlight is the certification course. So when we say certification course, we will, in the introduction, we will say, I have completed the certification course from Big C, the retail banking certification course from Big C, or say, I am pursuing a retail banking course from Big C. This is for the introduction part. Now, from the introduction part, you don't have to essentially say that these are the things that is being taught in the course. Of course, you've been taught. You will have that urge in you to talk, a course which all of us are passionately doing, right? But we only will talk about it at the later opportunity. So when you have highlighted Big C, they will definitely ask you. You can expect that question saying that, what is that you taught in, you learned in Big C? They can, I'm sure a couple of you all have got that question. So how would you position a particular product if you're given an opportunity? Or they can say, so using the knowledge that you've gained from the Big C training, how do you think you can convince a customer? This will all follow. So again, the importance of framing your 30 seconds or that 1 minute of your, we call it as an elevator pitch. You can Google it. There is something called as an elevator pitch, right? Elevator pitch is nothing but that 1 minute that you get to talk your ideas, hardly 5-6 sentences, but it has to be so effective that that will decide the next course of action. So definitely there will be some do's and some don'ts. So another good thing, especially Pawan, you talked about your experience. I think even Deekshita spoke about experience. Manjula spoke about experience. Very specifically, 3.5 years in banking or 2 years with Manappuram Finance, or whichever the particular work experience you all have mentioned. Now, that gives a confidence to the interviewer, saying that we have a fair field experience or practical experience as well. Now, if there are from a fresher perspective, Nelbin is also, he also has a working experience. He also spoke about work experience, but he also spoke about his other achievements. Now, when we speak about achievements, it is not just for the purpose of speaking achievements, but it also should be something which you can correlate to a job front. Okay. Now, he spoke about, say, I think music and one more, some tabla, and one more I missed it. Yeah. So hobbies he mentioned, and he said at workplace also he has achieved. Right. So it will give an idea to the interviewer from a fresher perspective. He's not a fresher, but I'm just saying, if it's from a fresher perspective, it will give an idea to the interviewer, saying that there is achievement orientation in the other person. It gives you an idea, right? So basically what I'm trying to say here is that when we frame our self-introduction, which is almost a mandatory part of every interview, we frame it in such a way that it will help you get leading questions in your favor, right? So saying that, what is that one thing definitely from the 9 versions of self-introduction that you all have heard, what is that one thing which you definitely need to avoid? What is that one thing which you definitely need to avoid? So we will stick to very minimal, very brief about our family. You can obviously identify yourself from the place that you are coming. I am from Kannur, or I'm from Kerala, or I'm from Odisha, or I'm from Andhra, whichever, right? That is fine. But if you are an interviewer, would any information about how many people I have, what my mother does, father does, husband does, wife does, is it going to contribute anything to your job profile? Instead, it may cause you harm, right? It may cause you harm than any benefit when we say, please don't get me wrong here. We all love our family. We all, that is our very prized possession. There is no doubts about it. But from an interview perspective, like a job market perspective, talking too much about, maybe, obviously it is seen, when ladies, it is very obvious that we are married, right? So, but we may not choose to share the information unless asked. Okay, why? Because it may lead the interviewer to think about your stability. We know we will stay with the organization, but unfortunately, the job market is such that there are resignations. There is a lot of attrition that is happening. So aspects like the place. So for example, I am in Bangalore and I want a job in Bangalore. One direct question to me would be, then how are you going to manage your family? Because the chances of the other person going back to their native when they get an ideal job would be more than sticking with that job. This is on experience. This is, the recruitment experience basis. So nowadays we have people saying that we need the candidate from the location who has, if not family, has been staying in that place for fairly a reasonable time. These are all some mandatory checks that the recruitment does. We can always argue saying that whether it will happen, it may not happen, I will stay, all that argument is there. But these are all mandatory check from a recruiter perspective that the HR or the business head will do, because from a practical scenario, when a person is hired or when a person is interviewed, it is not just that 2-3 minutes. It is time that they are investing. You are investing time to upgrade that person from how the person has come to the organization to 1, 2, 3, 4 months. right? Fairly, irrespective of the experience, it will take minimum 1 to 2 months for the person to feel one with the organization, right? So that is a time investment. There is training that is being given to us, correct? So all that is time and money. So we will see, the recruiter will see the stability aspect. So that also has to come in the conversation somehow. So if we choose to not talk about that, it may help you avoid that kind of a conversation. Now, if I'm giving an interview for say a cashier role, and I am talking about say something, maybe some event that I managed in my past work, would it be any relative here? Would it be any kind of relevance in the context of a cashier role interview? It may not be relevant, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Instead, if I can talk about say maybe a one-on-one instant where I did manage a situation, a difficult situation, a difficult customer, it may be of relevance, because cashier role, gone are the days where the cashier is just looking down and counting cash. Have you all gone to a bank, by the way? Nowadays, have you seen anybody in the bank is customer facing, correct? Even a cashier decides the experience the customer has, right? Have you all observed that if you go to a bank and stand in a queue for even 1 minute extra, either the assistant manager or the branch manager himself or herself comes and says, ma'am, 2 minutes, please. Today rush is a little more, we'll just, or do you want this? Can I support you otherwise? These are all part of giving customer experience so that we ensure customer retention. Little off topic, but I'm just saying that, so every aspect, whether you are aiming for an operations job, whether you are aiming for, you're saying that, okay, I'll start with sales, customer facing is mandatory. And hence communication, just not from a perspective of the interview, but it goes forward. Now, even if I'm talking about the communication for the 100th time, 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes before the session, I'll just quickly collect my thoughts so that I know where the session is leading. Only when I know where the session is leading, will y'all make any sense out of the session. Don't think that, oh, I am a fresher, or I am, or even for that purpose, I have 2 years experience, I have 13 years experience. No. Every opportunity is a new opportunity. Every opportunity is a stepping stone for our next step.